Hey, this is Ralph, and in this video I want to look at how we can put anchor tags around or outside of block elements. So I was just grading some final exams for the web dev students, and one of my students put his anchor tags outside of the list items as opposed to inside of the list items. And that's actually okay, it just might have to change some things. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. So I've got a page set up, and the situation that, let's say we're creating a navigation menu, maybe we've got a set of nav tags. Perhaps we're using an unordered list. Then I'm going to have a list item with a series of hyperlinks inside. And this is typically what I would show people. And let me go ahead and paste that a few times just so it looks more navigation menu-like. And the reason I show this a lot to students is because I was making web pages in the late 90s, and when the XHTML1 spec came out, they were just pushing us hard. Inline elements, anchors, always go inside of block elements, list items, divs, paragraphs, and whatnot. And that was just kind of ingrained in me, and I keep pushing that too in my classes, even though it's no longer the rule for today. So for instance, on my browser here, I've got the HTML spec open, and we can see here the anchor element can be wrapped around entire paragraphs, lists, tables, and so forth, even entire sections, so long as there's no other interactive element. So basically, we don't want to have an anchor within an anchor. We don't want to have a clickable button inside of an anchor tag. We don't want to double up in that area, but we can put anchors outside of blocks now. It just might change the way you style some things. So let's try to visualize this a little bit. So what this student did, which was actually okay, was they had their opening anchor tag in front of the opening list item, and they had their closing anchor tag after the closing list item. And that in and of itself is not wrong, it's just a different way to go. However, it would certainly change your styling. So this student was using some Flexbox to make a flexible navigation menu, which was cool, but they were kind of practiced up, trained up doing it anchors in list items, not list items in the anchors, and so that would change a few things. But let's see a situation where we would definitely want to put our anchors outside of the block. Let's say on our page we have a div, class equals promo card, and this div contains quite a few things in it. It's got, let's see, it's got a figure, and that figure contains an image. Let's see, do I have an image we can use? How about a puffin? You can't go wrong with a puffin. Alright, and now let's not do that in the figure. Maybe the figure has a couple of images. But let's say after the figure we've got a fig caption, and that fig caption has some lorem ipsum filler text, maybe not so much though. Maybe in addition to that fig caption, there's also some paragraph which is describing our product, and we'll have even more text on there. And it could go even further, and there could even be some kind of a nav menu. Inside, paste that a few times, there could even be a nav menu inside of this for maybe different variations of that product and so forth. However, if somebody were to click on this promo card, well, how would I do the hyperlink? Well, back in the olden days, we might do a hyperlink around the image, and then a separate hyperlink around this fig caption text, and a separate hyperlink around the paragraph text, and so forth. But I want the whole thing to be hyperlink. Well, this is a perfect situation where I'm going to put an opening anchor tag, and I'll just go to some site we can test out. Hit over to eBay. So I put my opening anchor tag right up there, and I would make sure my closing anchor tag would be somewhere. Now I don't want to wrap the nav because that would put anchor tags within an anchor tag, but I could certainly put it right out here after that closing paragraph. So now my anchor tag completely contains a figure, a fig caption, a paragraph. All of those things are going to be hyperlinks. Now, let's do some quick styling just so we can see this on our web page. And let me jump over to my web page. And I've got it there, but that is way too big. So let's do this to kind of clean that up, make it easier to look at. I'll head up to my styles, dot promo card. And I'm going to give it some big margin. How about 40 pixels top and bottom, auto margin left and right. We'll give it a width of 400 pixels, so that way it should be centered in the page. However, that's not going to style my picture inside of it. My picture is going to still look really, really big. So what I'm going to do here is dot promo card space asterisk. I'm going to take every element within that promo card, and I'm going to set its max width to 100%, which means it should be limited to the confines of my promo card. And there we go. So now everything is kind of shrunk down. But check this out. Without doing much more styling, everything on here is a hyperlink. The image is a hyperlink. The paragraph text, fig caption text, and of course my nav menu hyperlinks. And if I were to click up on this picture, that's going to take me over to eBay. Let me go back. If I click anywhere in this text, that's going to take me over to eBay. Excellent. So although I still like the idea of putting my anchors within the blocks for something like list items used in a navigation menu, you can't argue with the logic of wrapping an entire section of maybe one or more block elements inside of the anchor element. So there you go. Start using your anchors on the outside of blocks when you know you want to make multiple sections or multiple parts a hyperlink. Thanks for hanging out with me.